fun. But we're gonna let the music vibe out a little bit. Jartan, you ready for this? Wayne, you ready for that? Are you good? Mm. Look at Dr. Emma. She is so adorable. I just want to scoop her up. She's just so cute. I love her. She's the best. Oh, everybody go share because it's live now. There it is. No, I don't want to hear my own voice. That's awful. Well, hey, at least we know my voice is coming through now. So that was the problem. Oh, shut up. I hate you. Shut up, Wayne. You're pissing me off, Wayne. You gotta sing into a different tune. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. Hands in on 3. 1, 2, 3, chickens! Hit it, Jack. Ah! Yeah. What y'all drinking on today? What are we sipping? Oh, what a shocker. Wayne with the Shiraz. Wow. Didn't see that coming. On her bar. This one goes out to my bottle of wine that I'm not drinking. I'll see you later, baby. You can send us a free check. No, they don't. No one. Leave President Trump out of this. We're not talking about him yet. Just stop. 20p is 20p. I'm drinking rum and coke. I always drink rum and coke, but Bob, what are you drinking? Bobbert. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, look at this. Look at this wank. Look at this. Look at this glass he's drinking out of. I got a plastic cup. Oh, look. Look at him. Well, la dee da. Aren't we special? Hmm. What are you drinking today, Dr. Emma? Well, someone was supposed to be dropping off her weekly stipend of wine so we could keep her on the show, but I guess the payment must have dried up. So she's like, I guess I'm just drinking tea. Just join on your phone and then just get on your, I imagine, moose or some large bear that you guys ride from place to place and just trek on over. I would like a polar bear with the set. That's what pulls his trucks. It's got a team of moose. Anyway, so segment number 1, begin. Dr. Emma, we would like to pick your brain a bit about socialized medicine and why it's good, why it's bad.
Just went.
Oh my god, what happened there?
Yikes.
Oh,
Hit the
oh, this is why we have Dr. Emma on.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
She knows how to get there. She gets there fast and she gets there hard. I love it.
Say that again, but slower and use more words.
Yes. Mm.
All right. We as always, we seem to have some technical difficulties on the Bin podcast. So through the stream, everybody. Last time we couldn't hear Mikey. This time they can only hear Mikey.
When I said I fixed the audio, I meant I fixed the audio. Before everyone was listening to you assholes. Now it's working. I told you I fixed it.
That's brilliant.
We got it.
This is
So we've just been miming, or
Yeah.
what?
we've just been like fucking moving heads, and Mike has been like the only one.
That's all right.
Okay.
To get the intro, you have to subscribe to us on Patreon. And
There you
know
go.
what that clusterfuck was.
I don't know what you're talking about, Wayne. I have no knowledge of anything that you're talking about.
So how do people do that?
How do people what?
How do people subscribe to Patreon?
Brenner.
Is this my cue? Thanks, guys. All right. So if you would like, no, not if, you are going to become Patreon subscribers to
Passive aggressive, I like it.
patreon.com/thebinpodcast.
There you go.
And you are going to go on and you're going to give us money.
Look at she's so Bill Clinton right now, just stabbing her finger right into all the audience's chest. Like, you're gonna give us your money. Is what you're gonna do.
This is how it's gonna be, and you're gonna give us your money and let us review our Patreon patrons right now, so that we know that these are who we are. We currently have as our Patreon. We have Austin, of course. We love Austin.
Austin.
We love Austin.
Oh,
We have Dan.
Yeah.
Oh, Dan.
We have
Old
Dan.
beef.
We have Kristen.
Kristen, who is that? She
Hi,
sounds
Kristen.
hot. You want to make out Kristen? You can do that.
She's
Kristen's a good
Scottish.
name. We have Pufflepugus.
Yo,
Best of best.
We have Richard.
Richard.
And we
Ricky,
have
me boy.
Stuart. So those are still our current Patreon subscribers, but you out there, yes, I'm talking to you. You are going to become Patreon patrons for patreon.com/thebinpodcast.
Look at her.
Thank you. And we'll move on.
Am I the only one supporting a semi just for trying to sting her now? Like, this is a real turn on for me, okay?
Yes,
See,
yes.
this is what you
Shilling
like
our
to
show
unpack every
gets them
single
hard.
week.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
All right,
Well, all right. So,
continue.
yeah, all right. We'll continue. Dr. Emma, so socialized medicine, when you have a single payer healthcare system, what are the benefits for like the general population of having such a system?
Well, I think it's obviously it's something that creates a more equal health among the population. Obviously, because I know what it's like here in Sweden, where you will have you'll have a maximum amount that you can pay in a year. Like if you go to the doctor here, you have to pay 20 euros, but only up to, how much is it, Kjartan? Before you reach
1,500, like 150 euros about.
yeah, and then it's free. I mean, it really makes it possible for everyone to access healthcare. You don't need any kind of insurance, and it is equal for everyone. And I think the reason why we're talking about this is a conversation Kjartan and I had the other day when we're talking about the
Chickens.
death rates of different ethnic groups in America with the COVID now, and you see that a lot of African Americans and Latin Americans, but mainly the African American population, have a much higher mortality rate. And we know that with COVID, you're much more likely to be seriously ill and die if you have pre-existing conditions.
Right.
And especially badly treated such. I mean, a well-treated diabetes or well-treated hypertension is potentially not a big deal, but walking around with untreated chronic conditions like that is like a major problem that comes up to the surface when you have a thing like COVID, because it's harder to really measure it otherwise. Like, sure, you might have a lower life expectancy and stuff like that, but that's not really, I guess, that hot for the media and the politicians to discuss. But now all of a sudden you have these numbers just like in your face. And Kjartan and I were talking about how in where we live here in Sweden, when you turn 40, when you turn 50, and when you turn 60, you're basically more or less forced to come to the primary health care clinic to have a checkup with a nurse. And if you don't come, she'll phone you. And if you don't come, she'll phone you again, basically. And you will come in and they'll check your blood pressure and they'll check your blood sugar and all those things. And if there's anything up, you will get treatment. You basically can't walk around with untreated hypertension or untreated diabetes here. It's unheard of. And there's really no reason for anyone to do it because you will be able to afford it because of those the maximum rates that for both seeing a healthcare professional and for your medication. So there are very few people in Sweden who won't be able to get a diagnosis if they have a underlying disease and to get a proper treatment. And of course, then we will have more more equal and fair outcome of this pandemic, for example.
And would you say that because that comment about people basically being forced after a certain age to go and see the nurse or go and see the doctor and they chase you up, and would you say that that's basically because they're looking at the healthcare system as an investment in their population, so therefore preventment is better than cure?
Yeah, definitely.
So would that be the logic behind that? Because we have a difference. Obviously, we have a socialised healthcare system, but we have, I feel, a very spoilt population who just take it for granted. Whereas that your system sounds better on that front, in my opinion.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. People in England seem to like their NHS, but
we take the mickey out of it.
Well, really I mean, I work in primary healthcare, so for me, it seems very obvious that it's a good way to invest the public's money, the taxpayers' money, because you do save more than you spend. If I can treat a person when they first get their symptoms of diabetes or hypertension or whatever, we might prevent further down the line some serious illness that might mean that they need hospital care, which is way more expensive. So that's how we try to work. But I mean, primary healthcare is really underfunded in Sweden. So I'm not saying it's a perfect system, but at least it is available to people.
Yeah.
And it's affordable.
It's definitely affordable, and the same goes for medication that you need as well, right? There's something for that.
All medications, prescription medications for kids under 18 is free in Sweden.
Yes, so we have a disparity in the UK in the sense of in England you have to pay for your prescriptions. In Scotland, no, it's all free. Which is no, everyone. Everyone in Scotland gets their prescriptions for free.
Like,
that's fantastic.
Like, this is all magic talk to me. Like, this is all nonsense. You might as well be talking about
sounds
Legolas
like a fucking Disney movie to you,
and
right?
The Ring,
right?
And like this is just not reality for us. Like I've probably as a relatively healthy former athlete, active young man, I think I've still paid somewhere in the range of like $6-7 grand in just like small medical trips.
But then again, your healthcare is so much more expensive than ours because it's driven by profit, right? Because you have insurance, you have an insurance that pays for the treatment you get. Yeah. So there's more incentive for the caregivers, the doctors, to give you unnecessarily expensive treatment. We don't have that incentive in Sweden, or I guess in Britain.
And this was the point that you were making the other day that I've never really thought of, like how they do, if you have an insurance, like to do unnecessarily expensive treatments when it's not really necessary, because that will make the money.
Oh, what's that? You got a toe? Your toes hurting? Let me get you in a CAT scan. And
exactly.
Like a full fucking body X-ray. And I don't know if this is correct. Can you help us out? Dean just wrote that diabetics in England get their prescriptions for free.
The insulin?
Yeah, that's true. In England, diabetics, and that's type 1 and type 2.
Like, we had to bring up legislation so that people couldn't hyperinflate insulin because they were trying to hyperinflate people need insulin or they die. Like,
yeah,
it's
but
not-
that's
it's
like
not
the
a-
same
a
thing that
fun-
the
It's not-
pharma bro did with the AIDS medication, right?
Right, that shit that was huge in treating people with HIV that were HIV positive. He jacked it up, what, 600, 800%?
Yeah.
Something
Yeah, it
crazy
went from
that.
like $7 to like $512 overnight.
Yeah, and then what are people supposed to do? Die, I guess.
How does that work in Sweden? Like, does diabetics get their insulin for free in Sweden?
Jeez, I don't actually know. It's one of those things that, like, I sit on my side of the computer, and I don't really. But I mean, again, once you reach that maximum of
$150 or something.
yeah, then you wouldn't pay. You don't have to pay anymore. So.
150
Look at
bucks
Mikey's
is like
face.
8
Look at Mikey's
pills
face.
here. That's like 8 pills. Like, that's nothing. 150 bucks is nothing. And
No,
then,
but
and I
like
think-
every time you go to like a doctor, even if you go and see a therapist or a psychologist, that is in the same pool, right? So after I think it's like 6 or 8 visits, you get to that maximum tier, and then it's free for the rest of the year, right? So you only pay $150, $160 per year, and it's the same for medication, right? So I don't know how it works with people with chronic diseases, but everybody won't pay more. Nobody will pay more than $150, $160 though.
And see, here in the States, like, that's why people's jobs, like, if someone offers decent health insurance, which is way over, and I've always had good health insurance, because whether it's through my mom who worked in hospitals or her just the jobs that she had until I started working on my own, and I worked for companies that provided good health care.
Uber Eats.
No, I have other jobs, dick. But it's one of these things where you have to try to get a job at one of these places because they're the only ones that have good health care. So if you go somewhere else and they don't offer such great care, you're fine until you get sick, and then it is potentially thousands and thousands of dollars. Just because.
See,
they
Mikey,
don't
when
cover
we have to go to the doctor, like the fairy godmother will come in and tap our knees with her wand, and then the little birds will fly in with bandages and wrap it up, and then
This isn't
send us on our
fair.
way.
This isn't fair.
and then the nurses are just singing, just.
This isn't fair. Like, this is not. It's insane.
Sorry.
For a while, we actually did have a lot of more initiatives in our healthcare system to do more preventative care. Like, we, it was like healthcare would, health insurance companies would actually say, okay, like, you get a certain amount of money more for like therapists, for massages and for chiropractors, so that you can actually get more preventative care, which would then lead to less need for emergency care. And so
But that's less need for repeat customers, though, isn't it?
and then so that was quickly a few years. I'm not saying who got in the White House and stopped that, but there was this basically taking all that back and saying that preventative care is not necessarily what we need to be spending our money on. We need to be spending our money on care.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with primary healthcare. I mean, I mainly work with preventive care. I mean, it's sort of like, it's not very sexy, is it? It's not like brain surgery or like unplugging someone's like plugged up heart arteries or whatever. So, I mean, that looks way cooler, and it's easy to point to a result like, oh, I operated on this and that many. But I mean, if I prevent those, we'll never even know. We'll never even know what we managed to prevent or not. So that's the thing with like our healthcare system. That's not always like, the incentive isn't like producing healthcare that you can like bill someone
Right.
for, then we can spend or put effort into the preventive stuff.
Right.
Because I mean, if I had my private clinic doing primary healthcare, to be able to like make any money, I wouldn't be able to work the way I do now, because I like produce nothing. Like, I mean, I don't bill anyone. Like, say I have a hypertension patient who I know, then I'll like, okay, I'll phone them and just check, like, oh, how are you doing? Are you checking your blood pressure at home? Yeah. Oh, that sounds good. Like, here's another prescription for a year.
He's
and
lying.
I won't even bill them. It's free.
He's
Yeah.
lying. He lied. He did not check his blood pressure.
Yeah.
He said he did, and then he's like, "Fuck, where did I put the fucking?"
Yeah.
I
We
do it all the time.
responsibility
Exactly.
on the patient. No, well, if I don't trust them, I'll have them in for tests, and then they pay the 20 euros for doing the labs, and then I'll
No,
phone them.
hold on.
and,
This is just because there's a lot of American people. 20 euros is $21.88. I just looked it up.
okay, cool.
That won't get you any tests in here. Like,
That is
it's
how much it costs.
$150.
That's how much it
It's
costs. to fill out the paperwork.
$150 to just get, a standard blood panel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much would it cost you to park at the hospital?
$21.88. Extra.
$4 here, I think, depending on where you are. And we have a really good hospital around here.
And we've got a
That's
comment.
because you live in liberal land, though, don't you?
Well, no, we actually have one of the best hospitals in Southern California, but that's just me.
California is the fifth biggest economy in the world, everyone. Just so you know.
She's
I didn't
kind of
say
a big
that.
deal. She's kind of a big deal. She lives in California. So can you like put
California.
some
And I
fucking
drink LaCroix.
respect? She drinks LaCroix. She lives in Orange County.
I live in Orange County, people. Yeah, we'll talk about Orange County soon.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a
we will.
bullshit.
That's actually a pretty good segue, Brenna, if you want to
Yes,
jump
we
into
will.
that right now.
So-
Next up.
Yeah, so should we talk about what has been going on in the world of coronavirus right now?
Yes, and just one thing. Tomorrow we're gonna have a small special that's gonna be streamed live with Austin, where he talks about his screening that he did and how
Very
much
nice.
it cost for his antibodies. So we're gonna talk to Austin about that. I haven't asked Austin yet, but he just posted it. So Austin, tomorrow night we're gonna have like a short one with you. Just
Perfect.
answer that. And everybody who's watching, go in, share, subscribe, and fucking comment, because the more you
Yeah, we
comment
need
and
interactions.
interact with us, the higher and what's it called, like the algorithm, like it
picks
kind
us
of
up better.
it picks us up better when you do
Yeah.
that. So please just make a comment, a thumbs up, whatever. Just interact with us, please. All right. Sorry, Brenna.
That's okay.
One quick thing.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Dean hopped in and he said, we have socialised healthcare here in England, but as a family, we choose to pay for private care. It's quicker and, dare I say, better.
It's true. I have an element of private, but the thing is, we have a socialized baseline, so you
Yep.
can supplement if you want to. You can jump the queue if you want to, but you always know you will always be cared for.
And we have something like that. We have our Medicare system is built on that, where we have Medicare, which is more of a single payer socialized, and then you have to add on. It only gets to like 80 or 85%, and then the rest of it you have to pay for it. But that depends on what your needs are and where you are located, kind of
And
thing.
how much has that been cut in the last 4 years?
Oh,
Just saying.
I'm surprised that there's still, available. Like I'm surprised that there's just no version of Medicare or Medi-Cal. Like we have Medi-Cal, which is kind of a general Medicare for all kind of thing.
There's no way Trump would have been able to cut all of it because a lot of his voter base is poor and they depend on it. So he
Right.
really
Yeah,
wanted
yeah,
to go after it,
but-
and he talked about it early in the campaign about going after it. And then his handlers quickly advised him that was a bad idea because a
Yeah.
lot of your poor
But did-
people that
did
you,
you s-
I love the poorly educated. Yeah, those people, they are all on Medicare. So
Yeah.
But did you see those media pieces they did where they said he's going to cut Obamacare? And they were like, yeah, we're going to cut Obamacare. It's like, it's the Affordable Care Act. Oh, yeah, I'll get that. They were like,
Yeah.
oh.
That was at the beginning of all this, and then like when everybody was shouting like, cut Obamacare or repeal Obamacare, and then they've been asked by reporters, well, then what does that leave you? What's the alternative? You go, oh well, I have the Affordable Care Act. It's like, dude, that's the same thing. It's just you people have been calling it Obamacare.
Whoa, you people. Wait a minute. What do you mean by you people?
You know what I mean, Mikey.
That's racist.
Yeah.
About poor white people. It's very racist.
Very racist.
How dare you make fun of the poor whites?
But
Okay, Karen.
white people have had it bad for a while.
Okay, I'm promoting this on the air. Next week, can we just watch all Karen videos?
Yeah.
Do you want to do a Karen commentary?
We should have a Karen Geddon.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's fucking do it.
I think we can do that.
Excellent.
A whole fucking Karen commentary. Yeah, fucking hell. Yeah, I'm fucking down with that.
I like him. Yeah.
Dr. Emma, do you know what a Karen is?
No, I don't.
Brenna, hit it.
So Karen is a privileged white woman.
Okay.
And what they do is there's this meme going around that it's I need to talk to your manager. And there's like the certain haircut, the certain mom kind of look.
Mom jeans.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so something's been going around that this Karen is the privileged white woman trying to get your manager. And so recently we've actually had a Karen, which again we can talk about for days because this woman is nuts. But we actually had someone ask for the manager because she didn't want to wear a mask in a grocery store. But
Can we just pull that video up quick? Can anyone get that really
Jesus
real quick?
Christ, Wayne.
We're supposed to do this before. How about
on the fly production meeting? Let's do it.
Let's let Mikey look up the video, and then what I will do is we'll start talking about what has been happening with our coronavirus outbreak, especially here in Orange County, because Orange County. And then we'll talk about the Essex because they're so similar to what is happening, and this is going to continue to happen because we're getting into summer months, and the weather has been turned into very hot, very summery. That the idea that we need to go to the beach or we need to be outdoors, but it's really hard because the beach is a public place. And so here in Southern California, especially here in Orange County areas, because we're mostly beach cities, primarily we have a lot of beach cities, even though the governor said, I don't really want you to open up the beaches, we in Orange County have defied that. We actually we've had protests about it. We've had the Orange County supervisors, Board of Supervisors open up the beaches. And so what has happened is that currently the trend in hospitalizations based on COVID-19 infections actually ends up increasing right after the weekend. So on Tuesdays, because Friday, Saturday, and Sundays are beach days, by Tuesday, spikes in hospitalizations. And same thing has been happening in the South End in Sussex, right?
Essex.
Sorry, my apologies.
E-sex.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's pronounced E-sex.
Essex.
No, Essex stands for East Saxony.
Yeah, whatever. Your language is foreign to me.
Yeah, we invented it, and yeah, well done. You picked it up.
Sure, you invented it.
And if we actually notice that there have been news reports, of course, around the countries, around the world about these beachgoers. If you actually look at what is in Essex and what is in Orange County when it comes to the beaches, they're almost exactly the same type of people that are there and the way that they congregate. So, Mikey, could
We
you?
have the clips queued up.
Shwa 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 shwam. Shwing shwam.
So give us a clip. Give us a clip.
Pulled it up. The LA Times article.
Yeah, I'll just talk about dead air for the time being.
And for everybody who doesn't know, we have a worksheet on the BIM podcast now. Like, we actually have a plan for how we're going to do the show. This is a new thing that we're doing. Yeah, we actually have a plan, for fuck's sake. It's fucking
It still doesn't help if we don't have
Just because we have a
electronic
list.
or electronic issues
You're
kind of
making it
get in
sound
the
like we
way.
planned this.
Like we did it professionally. I have the article pulled up. Would you like me to read any of it? I posted the link to the article in the side chat if anybody wants to go ahead and give it a read. From the LA Times. Orange County coronavirus cases dipped after spike last week. Orange County health officials announced 59 new coronavirus infections Monday, breaking a streak of 5 straight days when the daily number of new cases broke triple digits. Because you went to the beach.
Yeah. Once the beaches start opening, we've got spikes.
You
A
went to
huge
the beach and
I
were licking
wish
each
that we
other.
had like a doctor or something who could explain why.
and also I need to also explain this as well, because this really doesn't even explain all of the numbers, but because of where we are in Orange County, a lot of the Inland Empire, those who when the heat spikes, definitely those in the Empire, which is not part of Orange County, actually ends up coming to the beaches. And so we don't even know the full number of infections because they will not record the same within the numbers of Orange County. So this isn't even the full story, and I don't think we're going to know the full story because of the way that Orange County sort of is dealing with this. So I'm just
a couple of weeks.
I'm just going to point that out, that that's what we're dealing with, is that we don't actually have the full numbers in Orange County, because that's not, we don't, the Orange County people are not the only ones being infected here. We also have people from the Inland Empire. So let me just, now I said my piece.
Mikey, have you got the clip from Essex? Ready?
Yeah. And Dean actually said that as soon as you started talking about Orange County, he was like, Orange County and Essex, similar, crikey.
Yep.
Okay.
He was right on the money on that.
Yeah.
I'm just going to finish this up. It remains to be seen whether this is a deviation or part of an observed pattern, however. For weeks, the county has generally announced comparatively few COVID-19 cases on Mondays and Tuesdays, only to see the numbers rise later in the week. So yeah, they go out and fucking get down how they like to get down, and then they all get sick.
We get down in the middle of the week, and then it goes right back up right after the weekend.
Yeah, and we're gonna have the same here in a couple of weeks, because Southend Seafountain was just rammed.
Oh,
And-
South End, that's what I'm pulling up. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I've
Have you got
the
it?
video here.
Let's play it. Show the people what's going on in Essex.
You guys in the call will not hear this. Brennan, you'll have to cut this out for the pod. And here we go.
You timestamp it.
A heatwave after 8 weeks of lockdown was always going to be an explosive mix, and on Southend Beach the inevitable happened. Thousands of sunseekers came from far and wide, taking advantage of the new rules allowing travel. As the temperature rose, the seafront got more and more crowded.
We've come from Hertfordshire, and I don't know, I was just, obviously with the lockdown, we've just been stuck in the garden, so I thought it's a bit of change of scenery for them.
I'm from Manchester and it's nicer than Blackpool.
I came from Leicester and I came here because it's the sea and I love the sea and I like to take the energy from it, you see. Yeah.
During lockdown, the resort
She likes
adopted
to
a new
take the
marketing
energy from
slogan,
the sea.
"Don't visit Southend." No one here was taking much notice of it today.
That was a beautiful
It's
one.
the
That.
middle of the day in the middle of the week, yet looking at the beach, you could be forgiven for thinking it was a bank holiday Monday with lockdown a distant memory. The town's council said there was nothing it could do to stop the flood of visitors other than
Oh
appeal
my
to people
God.
to keep their distance.
If it becomes dangerous, we will have to close the seafront. But that would be a last resort. We'd only close it. We wouldn't stop people coming. We'd close it to traffic so that people can move around safely.
Lockdown has dealt a heavy blow to Southend's traditional seaside
those
businesses.
beaches look
Amusement
exactly like
arcades,
Orange County
shops and
beaches.
cafes have missed the start
Like,
of the
just
season and are still
packed full of
closed.
people.
Adventure Island, Southend's biggest attraction, is out of bounds.
But
The
how
owner,
fucking
who also
privileged
runs the town's
do you have to
aquarium,
feel
as well
to
as
fucking
cafes
do
and
that?
bars, would normally expect to have 1,000 employees at
I
this time.
mean, that's just the way that you are. Yeah, it's the way that you are.
You guys out there, you guys get the point. They saw enough of it, and they saw the people strutting around with their sweaty man boobs, talking about something. Looks fine to me. Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah,
it's the same. And we're gonna
But since we actually have somebody who can explain to us why this is fucking dangerous in every fucking way, and actually have some expertise on the area, Dr. Emma, please let us know why is this just stupid? Like,
why it's stupid to hang out in big crowds and not keeping a social distance.
Yeah.
Well, Kjartan, the thing is, the COVID virus...
I like that you're directing this this is so bad. Like, I'm asking this for the viewers. I'm trying to be like the good host here. What the fuck?
Well, you did ask me a question, so I would like to answer. I didn't see the clip, but I think it was a lot of people at a beach. I take it. Yeah. Yes. And they weren't keeping a 2 meter distance to one another. No. Well, I mean, the problem is when you socialize with a lot of people like that, you might encounter the virus if they sneeze, cough, or just breathe in your general direction. And the incubation period for the COVID is between just a few days and up to 2 weeks. So I think it would be a little bit difficult to now, after just 1 or 2 weeks, say if there's really a pattern and if it's connected to going to the beach or not. But I guess we'll see over the next few weeks if it carries on like that. I know that when you look at the death rates, how they are reported, you usually see a death during the weekends, and then it spikes in the beginning of the week. But that's not because people die on Mondays; it's because they don't get reported during the weekends. So it could just be that also, that you don't have a lot of people getting tested during the weekends because they're busy, and yeah. So it's a little bit hard to say if the numbers are related to beach going, but I would still say that going to the beach when there are a lot of people there, you don't know. It's not something I would recommend. Does that answer your question, Kjartan?
Have we got the other clip from England? Have we got the other clip from England that I sent you guys about the very hypocritical man? That was on the Twitter.
I don't know if I got that one. Why don't
In
you talk
the
me
chat,
through
I
it?
sent it to you.
You know what, Wayne? You calm down.
I can just paraphrase it if you want.
That would be great because I don't have it. I didn't get that.
It's in the group chat, but
I didn't do it, Wayne. There's no point in going back. I didn't do it. I love you and I'm sorry, but I didn't do that one.
Okay, well, I'll just fill in. There's a gentleman that was recorded by an ITV reporter who was with his family, a family of 6, and that was 3 individual couples, and they're on the beach. I presume it's Brighton, looking at the backdrop. I can't confirm that, but it looks like Brighton to me.
Is that the South Bend Beach ITV thing that you posted, mate?
No, it was the Twitter one.
Oh, right. Give me a second. I'll put it up for you because
okay. Should we just talk to Phil because we're so professional and but what's everyone's opinion on this kind of behaviour? Because mine is, I feel that we have a culture of individuals that want to do their own thing and don't like being told what to do by an authority figure. But at the same time, they'll show deference to that authority figure in different ways. and it's really kind of atomizing our societies in the sense of we're getting like little pockets of societies that are only happy with their little in-group, and everyone external of that means nothing until something massive like this happens, and then all of a sudden everyone's pulling together until they get bored and they want to go to the beach. No, I want to go to the beach. Fuck everyone else.
Well, and
Don't really matter.
it's not just, oh, like, I want to go to the beach. Well, my family has to go to the beach, and then I don't want to go to the beach alone with my family, so I got to invite, 3 other families around. So now it just becomes a crowd.
Yeah.
And so now you're all in it together. And then everybody goes to the beach, and now it's okay to go to the beach, and so everybody comes to the beach.
Yeah, but then everyone starts complaining about people going to the beach whilst they're on the beach, which leads us into this clip. If Shafet's got it ready.
And segue.
Have we got it?
Nope. Hold
Oh,
on.
no.
I'm trying.
All right.
I have so much shit going on my computer right now. So
Yeah, no. I'm just sitting
tempted
there
to
now
not
watching
pull it
because
up.
what we're talking about is the Nick Dixon thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think
All
I
right.
have that
So,
one. Hold on.
yeah, it's in the chat, side chat.
It's in
by
the
the way.
chat.
Well, that's fine. All right. So it's 38-second clip. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna post that in the side chat. I think as soon as I get my shit sorted. It's kind of funny, but it's sad as well because they're standing there talking about how with a beer in hand, like how we shouldn't go to the beach, and they're standing like super close together and just talking about it. It's just really fucking weird to watch. Really weird. Really, really, really fucking weird.
I'd love to watch it.
Speaking of really weird,
I'm not allowed to share, and if I
can
could,
you not?
No, and I think I would fuck up everything on Mikey's end
yeah,
if I did.
it's gonna tear up my template if you.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to post the link in the side chat. Everybody go in, watch it.
How about retweet it from the BIM podcast Twitter?
I will do that as well, of course. And Austin, you can go fuck yourself. Questions on that?
I pinned the comment, so.
Yeah, I know you did. I know you did.
Dr. Emma does not know what y'all are laughing at. Perhaps you'd like to inform her on the comment.
No.
Okay.
Oh well.
And see.
Yeah, of course you will. Of course you will, because you're a fucking Judas. You whistling you.
Whoa.
Oh.
Wayne is
Sent
from
in the
now on,
ranks.
Wayne is from now on known as Judas Iscariot.
Right. In that case, the offer to stay at my house when you come over here eventually has been withdrawn.
Yeah, you don't even have chickens, mate. What the fuck?
I've got KFC in the kitchen if you want it.
No. I like the live
It's like a posh
I'm
wank.
gonna die.
Come on.
My cheeks.
So,
hurt.
can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
No.
of course.
Please.
I just got a news flash. Have you guys seen it? Who Joe Biden is gonna have as his vice
Money.
president?
Oh no.
No.
Who do you
No.
think?
Tell us. All right, fucking live fucking news coming right at
Elizabeth
us.
Warren.
Okay. Any other suggestions?
No, it's going to be an old
It's
white
Kamala
guy.
Harris.
It's Kamala Harris, I think.
It's going to be a white
Susan
dude.
Rice.
It's going to be a man.
No,
No, he said that it's going to be a lady. He's
it's
already.
gonna be a woman. It has to be.
Yeah.
Is it that
All right.
Stacey? What's her face? Who
Stacey
got pied
Abrams.
live on telly?
It's the mayor of Las Vegas. No.
Oh,
it's
shit.
it's Amy Klobuchar.
He's
Stop
probably
it.
gonna smell it.
Really?
No.
No!
There's
Oh.
no
Do
way.
that. He can't do that.
Fuck.
That's what he. Well, he asked. I guess you have to ask the Senate to approve her or
So,
something.
4 more years of Trump.
Oh man,
I hope not.
dude, this
Yeah,
sucks.
so apparently when I go to the UK, I'm going to stay at Dean's house.
Okay, that's fair dues.
Yeah, he's got chickens.
Oh come on, man. All right, I got the
He's
thing
also
here.
your stalker.
I got the thing. I got your. It's loaded. I have to I preloaded everything so that we wouldn't have any lag or whatever. But we've got everything going now, so we're just going.
But now we've got breaking news.
Yeah, we've got breaking news.
Dr. Emma, are you serious? Give it to me straight, Doc.
I love the fact that the first word you get about it comes from a doctor in Sweden.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of it either, but right now I'm like utterly disgusted.
Come on, man.
They just keep doing this to us, man.
I don't want to live here no more. This is bullshit.
So why are you guys so disappointed? What's
Amy
what don't you
Klobuchar is
like with him?
annoying. And she's
well,
not.
that's a qualifier.
She's
Did you watch the
annoying, and
debates?
She doesn't do anything.
Emma, can you please
The debates were all her waiting on
the
other
news
people to
flash
come.
that you got? Can you please send that to me through Messenger or WhatsApp or something, and I'll post it, please, because I just googled it and it hasn't turned up yet.
Oh, where'd you? This is fake news. This is what this is.
Dr. Emma's a Russian bot.
No.
Yeah, just spread. Yeah, it's for my own benefit because I've got very invested in Klobuchar.
Can you say that again? It sounded like there was a little hint.
anything.
No, there sounded like there was a little hint of like a St. Petersburg accent in your voice there, Emma. Oh, you see? Rumbled.
Slipped out above the tongue.
Fuck you, Vladimir. We've rumbled you.
All right. Swish, swish, swash, swish, swoosh.
Okay.
Did you get it, Shota?
Yeah, I've got it.
Hold on.
Problem is that it's in Swedish, so I'm trying to find the original CBC article, which for some reason they haven't linked to.
Oh wow, Sweden's the first to report this.
No, it's actually fucking CBC News, like Canada.
How do they know?
Yeah, because they're a good country.
Justin. Good old Justin, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
When he's not blackfacing.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this article out loud, and as soon as we find somebody else, and then I'm going to do live translating here, which is going to make this a fucking shit show. But I'll do my best, all right?
Mm-hmm.
So the Democrat president candidate Joe Biden has officially asked Senator Amy Klobuchar to go through the vetting process to later be announced as his VP candidate. According to sources to CBC News, Klobuchar is one of the Democratic politicians who tried to be the presidential candidate for the Democratic Party, but she put down her stand earlier this year and got behind Joe Biden. He has promised to nominate a woman as VP, and Klobuchar is considered one of the favorites.
Well, that sucks.
Well, I know that vetting process
That
is
sucks,
usually...
but can we applaud Jartan for his live translation? Because I can't even read that fast, and you're doing it bilingually.
That's lovely.
That's some good skills.
That's the best I could do at the moment. But fucking hell, isn't that like the really weird kind of conservative Democrat lady who made a lot of weird comments, though?
No, that was you're thinking about Williamson.
Yeah, that's Williamson. All right, sorry. All right.
That crack pie.
But I just want to say we shouldn't be freaking out too much because it happens a lot that there's going to be more that are going to go through the vetting process.
Okay, fair enough. And also, your main source is Swedish GP.
I mean, this happens a lot. I mean, it's very common for them to go through these vetting processes, and that the news is going to.
Okay.
So we'll probably have a few.
So should we caveat that news then?
And what happens is that it gets tries to get a little bit of a reaction from people too to see where people are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thumbs down.
Yeah, so that's probably going to be one of the please don't do that kind of thing. And then there's going to be a lot more that are going to come out. So I'm a little bit more cautious because if instead of saying, because obviously what I understand from that news report was that it was mostly just going to be for the vetting process instead of being announced.
Yeah, he didn't announce her, but yeah, he was gonna have her.
So that we'll probably see a couple more of those coming up within the next month or two. That there's going to be some other vetting processes.
Yeah, hopefully Hillary Clinton. Yeah.
Yeah, shut up. All right, I got your Nate
I think
Dixon.
honestly, I think Stacey Abrams would probably be one of his best bets.
No, do you know what? She got proper pied by him live on TV, didn't she? He invited her onto a was it MSNBC?
I mean something different here, Wayne.
You know what I mean. He invited her on, and it was all sort of like, "Oh, is there something going on here? Are you going to announce Stacey Abrams as your running mate?" And you see her face drop live. She's all smiley at first, and he's just basically saying, "Oh, she's a lovely person." So why did you invite her on? It was a complete waste of time. And I saw quite a few sort of media commentators like pulling up her face and putting her face on the screen as Biden was talking, and you just see her face just go like that.
All right, I got your clip.
Emma, no, but just before that, Emma, you're going to be really happy about this because I sent this link to my dad, right? And he just sent me a text going like, "Last cigarette, dude."
What? Sorry, I didn't hear that.
That's your last cigarette. So yeah, Dad, I heard you. Got the text right here. You're fine. Got that.
Loud and clear. All right, here he is.
All right.
Wayne's clip of
That's funny.
homeboy doing his thing out here. I don't know what this is, so please don't be racist.
Me personally, I think the way we're going, I know we're out drinking beer, so it looks like we're saying what's good for us is not good for everyone else. But if we carry on the way we're going, I think we're going to have a major lockdown in 2 weeks, the way the restrictions are. And in 2 weeks, I think we're going to see a massive rise in the deaths again.
I think it is.
So I think we should be more stricter like Spain, and none of us be allowed out.
But when it's family, it's a little bit different when it comes to 6 people, because we're all family. And we all know and we all are in each other's homes, so we're allowed to do that.
Whilst everyone's been in lockdown for so long, it's the hottest day of the year. Everyone's going to come to the beach, especially when you've got places serving a beer.
Me personally, I think...
Wow. Yeah, same shit. Just a bunch of people, hey, they need to get out. We're all family. We all hang out anyway. So why don't we all just go to the beach? So what's the problem?
Yeah.
We've all been in each other's houses, so we're allowed to do this, is what she said.
as said by every other family on that fucking beach. It's just...
And how are your infection rates doing?
Yeah, highest in Europe. Hey! We're number one.
Yikes.
And the thing is, there was who was it? Dominic Raab got pulled up because Boris Johnson in PMQs got pulled up by the new Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer, because every single day in the briefings they would have the graph with the national comparisons in, saying like the death rates and the infection rates and all that. And then the day we became the highest in Europe, they didn't show that slide anymore. Weird that.
Weird.
It's funny how when we become number one in the death rates, it's no longer a positive thing for the government. So let's not put that in the official...
Didn't Trump call it the badge of honor? All the positive, all the infections.
No,
he said it was the badge of honor because they've done so much testing, and it was a great thing.
This was something that I was puzzled by, because he turned around and said, "I wish we weren't doing so many tests, because then we wouldn't have so many infections." Like, yeah, recording infections, you dickhead. Everyone would still be dying.
How about
everyone would still be fucking dying. But that's exactly what your president said.
Our president got on TV the other day and said that he's been taking hydrochloroquine
right.
however long.
Yeah, but topic for a later discussion. We're going to get into Donald Trump in a bit. We got some more shit we need to get through first.
Yep, we'll get back to him.
We'll
His
get back
royal
to
orgies.
and Cortez, by the way, you're reading the Donald Trump tweets in a Donald Trump voice. All right?
Thank you.
Yes,
I can definitely.
We all
do this.
We all
I can do
voted
this.
on it. That's your job tonight. You're like you are doing that.
I can do this with ease. With ease.
Shade Trump.
It'll be you.
And everybody watching right now, everybody watching out there right now, please share, comment, even if it's just a thumbs up. Just make sure that you interact with us in any fucking way, so we get a bit in that weird fucking thing.
We love when y'all talk to us on Twitter.
Yeah, and what, Dean, by the way, bang up job, mate. Fucking love your comments. We're not going to get around to answering everything that you do, but keep it up. We love it.
Cheers, Dean.
And I hope that Dean becomes a Patreon supporter.
There it is.
We don't hope Dean is going to become a patron. He's going to go to patreon.com/thebinpodcast. And it's only $1. You get a lot of bonus content. And as soon as we got our Acast fucking running, a lot of shit is going to get up there.
Yeah,
Brenda's been doing a lot of good work. Just make sure that you...
We got a vault of shit that we're waiting to unleash until we switch to our RSS provider.
We actually had to buy, Brenda's going to buy, an extra hard drive just for all the shit that you're going to get. For $1.
Yeah.
I'd say...
And what's happening at the end of this month? Wait, at the end of this month, next weekend, right?
No.
No? It's not next weekend.
Give it us, mate.
The call?
Sorry, I was just checking this out on my phone. Sorry.
The call?
The Patreon,
every month?
Patreon exclusive.
Oh, yeah, the Patreon exclusive. Sorry, mate. I was just distracted by something on my phone. I was trying to share stuff at the same time. You weren't talking to me, so yeah. The Patreon exclusive call where you get to join us, talk to us, put your words to us directly, and we will respond in real time because it's going to be like this, how we're talking now. So if you've got an opinion or you've got something you want to say to any of us, jump in and we'll fire back. And I'm sure it'll be a great time.
Do we want to see the guy at Whole Foods? Or the Karen at Whole Foods?
Oh, yeah. Let's do the Karen.
Swish, wash,
so,
swish, wash,
Dr. Emma?
Yes?
This is the epitome of what we call a Karen. Was known as a Karen.
I'll have to just send her the link because you guys can't see it in the stream.
I can't see shit.
If you go into your Facebook page, I know Drew was watching earlier. You can see it through Facebook. If you go into Facebook Bin Podcast, you'll be able to see it there.
Yeah, the volume and all that stuff will be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, turn the volume off on your mic though.
Yeah.
Let me know when you guys are ready. Oh, it looks like Jarjan's doing the same thing. Brenda, you've seen it, right?
I have, yes.
Okay. And when you've seen it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Gonna watch it live on a live stream on my other phone.
Oh, look at you. Oh, look at you. With your healthcare and your extra phone. Fuck you. Pressing play.
We apologize, but Yelson's facility is not allowing any customer or employee inside the store without a mask of some sort of kind.
Okay, so I need to talk to a manager because...
Oh, absolutely humbly go get a manager.
Yeah.
If you'd like to hang out with me for just a
Awesome.
moment. If not, we can provide you with one.
I'm not wearing a mask.
Okay, understood. Allow me
Perfect.
just a moment and I'll
Go ahead.
return.
Go ahead. Hi. Hi, I have a medical condition that I'm not allowed to wear a mask and I'm not required by HIPAA rules and regulations to disclose that.
Okay, can we stop for you?
So, what does that look like? I have private things I want to get that maybe I don't want you to
Stop for
see.
you, but I can't let you in the store without a mask.
Okay, so where's the regulations that state that?
The regulation?
Yeah.
That's company.
Because you're discriminating against me now. Do you know that?
I'm
You're discriminating
offering
against
that
me.
we can help you.
No, because I have private stuff that I don't want you to see.
Then you can call corporate office, but I can't help you.
Okay, well you guys can get a lawsuit because you can't
I'm
discriminate.
trying to help you, but I'm
No,
not
you
going to
can't. How's that helping when you're gonna do shopping for me? I'm gonna give you my bank information.
doing the best I can.
How do I do the transaction?
Transactions will be for you.
No, I'm gonna give you my credit card, my private credit card, for you to go and take and pay with my.
We're trying to help you.
How's that helping me?
Miss, call corporate office. I'm sorry.
Okay, I need a card. Do you have a card for them?
I sure can.
That'd be great. This is Shelley Lewis. I'm at Dana Point at Gelson's. So if anybody wants to shop here, you have to have a mask. And here is the policies, which state that they will shop for me, take my money, my private credit card, and utilize that. I'm going to just let them go do that. So, no, I'm not. I'm not going to do that.
Look at my man jamming over here.
But you're pretty chipper. You're pretty chipper. Huh? You're happy?
Why not be?
Why are you happy?
Normally I'm a bartender and I wouldn't have a job.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a job.
Well, good. I mean, I'm glad you guys think it's okay to, like, infringe on people's rights here. You're infringing on people's rights.
Realistically, my dear, there is no way my card's up, please.
Sorry?
I'm sorry, I can't help you. But that's the number to our corporate office.
Okay, what's your name?
Okay, my name is Ben.
Ben? Okay, Ben.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
All right.
Thanks, Ben.
There you go. All right, and
I just love how happy that geezer is.
He is definitely a bartender for sure. He has all the bartender. Yo, I wanna go work at that store. Like, they got Michael Jackson playing on the radio. Count me in.
I want to go there to meet a Karen.
So that's a Karen, Dr. Emma.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so privileged white woman who just goes in and talks to the manager because she doesn't want to do it. So just to let everybody know that this particular Karen, this Shelley Lewis, is not just a random mother who wanted to go to the grocery store and didn't want to wear a mask. She is a far right-wing activist. She is an anti-vaxxer, a flat earther. I mean, this is basically her job, is to go in and terrorize people.
So you don't have psychiatric clinics either?
You have to pay for that.
You have to pay for that.
Free.
Yeah, you have to pay for that.
Explains a whole lot. Yep.
So she's been around for years, and people know her, and she does this. I mean, the whole point was that she was going to this grocery store, this very high-end grocery store, and basically wanting to put this on social media that she was being she was being discriminated against, which a whole lot of this doesn't make any sense, because like that she wants private things, that they stock that stuff.
You got to take it through the store.
Yeah, no, but okay. So here's the thing, though. So this is a private entity, like a private company, right? And they have
It is.
Yeah, and they have this rule that you have to wear a face mask.
Right.
Yeah. So it's a privately owned company. They can have any fucking rules that they want. Like a bar can say, like, if you don't have a shirt or shoes on, like, you're not allowed in. They're
We
allowed
have the
to say
right
that.
to refuse entry
Yeah.
to anyone.
Yeah, we can.
Which is perfectly legal in California.
Yep.
As long as it's not or in the U.S. which is as long as it's not discriminating against your sex, your race.
But what is like we have one former bouncer, one present bouncer, and a bartender on this go, right? And we all know that when you work in a bar, and a DJ, we're allowed to refuse entry. We're allowed to refuse you to have any more drinks, and this is
as long because it's the health and safety of
As long as it's not anything that's a protected class,
right?
Or a hate crime.
Which privileged white people are not a protected class.
No. But it's very fucking easy. Like if I
As a
have
bouncer.
but if you own a bar and you tell people you have to, like, you're not allowed in with flip flops and no shirt on. You have to have a shirt on and you have to have shoes on. Like proper shoes on.
Right.
You're allowed to say that, and you're allowed to refuse entry because they're not applying by the rules that you as a private entity has set.
It's a dress code. It's a dress code.
Yeah. So this convenience store has, during COVID-19, initialized a dress code, if you'd like, of you wearing a face mask. They're allowed to do that. Fucking let them do that. And if you don't like that,
so here's
let me say
go
this.
somewhere fucking else.
Yeah.
Let me say this, right? So I understand that, you know, that's what the rules may have been laid out as, but we have this class of people here who seem to believe that no matter what the rules are, they don't have to abide by them because they're above it. Yeah. They have now started telling people that because of a medical clause, a medical issue, that they don't have to wear a mask in public. And the signs are posted saying that because it's a medical thing, we're not allowed to ask about it. Right. Why aren't you wearing? We can't even ask, why aren't you wearing a mask?
No. See, that's a misuse of HIPAA law.
Yeah.
That's not what it's designed for.
I'm agreeing with you, Mike.
No, I'm agreeing with you. You
agree.
can't.
Oh, get a room.
Agreement.
But okay.
Hold on.
No, I'm not gonna hold on.
Jumping
Fuck
on my
you.
shit.
Fuck you.
Stop stepping on my dick.
Mother has spoken.
So the thing is,
watch
like,
it, buddy.
So the thing is,
Am I allowed?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
All right. We got to make sure that you're going to still be coherent for the rest of the conversation.
Yeah, we got a bit more to go here. And
we still have. Okay.
So Dr. Emma, with
and then
HIPAA,
go crazy after that.
So with HIPAA, is it a violation of someone's HIPAA rights to say you have to wear a mask because that's what she said?
I don't know what the HIPAA thing is.
Hippocratic Oath.
What do you call it there, Jartan?
Hippocratic Oath.
No, that's not the same thing.
No.
HIPAA and Hippocratic Oath are totally different things.
All right. I'm actually gonna have to.
Yeah, it might be. It stands.
I thought that's what he was getting at. Sorry, my bad.
Can you describe it with other words?
Sorry. HIPAA is
really
like
small.
Health Information Privacy.
Health Information Privacy Protection Act. So pretty much what it says is, like, if I'm any kind of healthcare provider, I'm not allowed to have Wayne in. I treat Wayne, and then Wayne leaves, and then Brenda comes in. I'm like, wow, the boils I just saw on Wayne. Well, that was so disgusting.
Like, what does that guy have?
Like, I'm not allowed to share
patient confidentiality.
Doctor-patient confidentiality.
Yeah.
But it's more
it's
widespread.
Beyond that.
It's
beyond that.
It's more widespread. Yeah.
Data protection, isn't it? Data protection rules.
It's more widespread in the fact that, like, if anyone comes in contact with someone's personal health information, by law, you are not allowed to. Hold on, Wayne. You're not allowed.
No, because I need to clarify it, because that's under European data protection. All of that is all under European data protection.
Okay. It goes beyond.
So if I found out that a patient at my clinic had some kind of weird infection that you usually just get from, like, I don't know, birds and stuff, like, I wouldn't be allowed to say that. Is that what we're talking about? Like stuff like that?
Yeah, stuff like that. Like, you're not allowed to talk about chickens anymore. Yeah, that would be very
cool.
No, she's not allowed to say that you have chicken diseases.
I think
she can say a patient had chicken diseases, but not
because we're on an international podcast. We're in international water, so those laws don't apply. So Emma, have at it.
So the thing.
Let me row out to international waters out here again.
So the thing with HIPAA, and I talked about this on my last show on End Time. A lot more people are coming into contact with other people's health information, and they're not privy to how to deal with that in a mature and professional manner. It happens all the time where people's HIPAA rights are violated, but she's saying, you're making me wear a mask, that violates the privacy of my health information. So the long answer, or the short answer is no.
Because her explanation is that it's because she has a medical condition that that doesn't allow her to wear a face mask, but she doesn't have to disclose what medical condition that is.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's
well,
pretty much
fair enough. I mean, if she has a medical condition that prevents her from wearing a mask, I don't know what that would be. But then again,
I'm in the shop.
Maybe she should go to a different shop where they don't have this.
Let me interject. So the other day, which was yesterday, I was in the store and I was shopping. And the entire time that I was shopping, this guy was behind me complaining and talking all this craziness and touching all over everything, not wearing a face mask, no gloves, and just yelling about how he can do whatever he wants and how they're not doing their jobs at this grocery store and that they need to move the stuff away from the aisles while they're steadily restocking the amounts, because people have not stopped buying things in bulk. They are cleaning the shelves continually. It might not be as advertised because the workers are restocking those shelves like over and over and over during the day, but people are still bulk buying things and going crazy with it. And this guy is just, they need to get this stuff out of the aisle so we can walk. And oh my God, I can't believe that all these people are such sheep wearing masks in here. And I'm turning around the whole time like, dude, I got my mask and my gloves on. I'm a lot bigger than you. Are you gonna say that to my face? Because I'm starting to get annoyed with it. And honestly,
mask.
And you know what he said the last time? He's yelling in the store that it's my rights. You can't ask me why I'm not wearing a mask. No one was talking to him, mind you. And he keeps going, you can't ask me why I'm not wearing a mask because it's against my rights. It's a part of HIPAA. You can't ask if why I'm not wearing a mask. It's a medical condition. What medical condition do you have besides diarrhea of the mouth?
No. But all right.
One of the symptoms of COVID, I think.
All right, because that's what we do. I just let Google this. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to read a short summary of what the HIPAA is.
Can you do it in a California girl accent, though?
No. Okay. Okay.
Read it like Katie.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
You're not going to do
The Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996, or the Kenneth Casaban Act, was enacted by the 105th. I can't do this. I'm sorry. I can't do this.
It's like a weird sort of Scottish, Norwegian, Swedish.
It just got weird. All right. So the Health and Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996 was enacted by the 104th United States Congress and signed by President Bill Clinton in 1996. It was created primarily to modernize the flow of healthcare information, stipulated how personal identifiable information maintained by the healthcare and healthcare insurance industries should be protected from fraud and theft, and address limitations on healthcare insurance coverages.
Yes. That's what it actually is. And she said, my HIPAA rights are violated by you making me wear a mask. And it's just like a gross mischaracterization of what the purpose, Austin said this in the chat, thanks Austin, of what the purpose of HIPAA is. The purpose of HIPAA is to protect people's privacy when it comes to medical issues. Not just the doctor not telling everybody, but anyone from trying to gain access or pressure people into giving up personal health information. I recently had something like this where I had something medical go on, and for whatever reason, the whole fucking place, the whole job knows about it. How the fuck do any of you know this? This is none of your fucking business.
Yeah.
None of your business.
It's a special kind of libertarian, though, because they're all about private business, private property, private rights and all that until you want to go into their fucking shop.
No, what? I want my private rights in your place.
Yeah, exactly. It's the fucking hypocrisy. It's the same as that geezer in that clip that we just showed.
Yeah.
I want to be able to go to the beach with my family. It might be against the lockdown rules, but I want to do it anyway. And I can't believe all these other people are doing it as well. How dare they? They should go home. It should be my beach.
I should be the only one out here.
Yes. Bunch of fucking cunts.
There it is.
It just winds me up.
Yeah.
Speaking
It's just Go on.
of hypocrisy, next
And
on
cunts.
the slate, Michigan.
Worst segue.
Oh.
All right, let's go.
It's a
Michigan.
segue.
Wait,
It is a segue, but
It might be a grinding
it's not-
gear change, but we've moved.
We have moved, and it's
I will leave segues up to
Michigan
these
is a shit
two,
show.
These two established segue artists here. I will leave it to them from now on. My apologies.
Mikey, the artist, the segue artist formerly known as Mikey.
It's just a symbol.
No, it's just a car crash.
A car crash is a symbol, you bastard. So Wayne,
Oh,
Michigan
semantics.
voting situation.
Yeah.
Yes, the Michigan voting situation. So, apparently, your dear leader has tweeted that the right for a mail-in, what's the word?
Vote.
Absentee vote is liable for fraud because there's too many people that could commit fraud, apparently. Even though he just mailed in his own vote from Washington to Florida because he's residing currently in Washington, but his registered residence is Florida. So he's allowed to mail in his absentee vote, but Michigan is not. And Michigan famously has a city called Detroit, Motor City. There's quite a lot of black people that live in Michigan, but that state's not allowed to do exactly what he did. So please discuss, and let's all come to the same conclusion.
Voter suppression in America.
Black people.
What?
Black people.
They would suppress
people.
the vote of minorities? What? In a
No, you're
state that might
crazy.
just be purple after all? What? I can't believe the words that you're saying to me right now, Wayne Lynch, with your
This is
mouth.
The land of the free and the home of the brave.
Can you say that again in that exact voice, please?
In the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Oh, clip that shit. We need that on the fucking soundboard.
Like we need that. We need that on the soundboard. Like we're gonna have that as yeah. No, that was
Just a little drop when people start talking shit about America being so righteous.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
And no, this is not me. This is not me shitting on America. This is me shitting on American politics because our politics is just as fucked up here. We got Boris Johnson. We've got posh Trump, and he just fucks about for free, and he gets away with it. It's just a love child.
Like that's the first time in the human fucking history Boris Johnson has been called posh.
Dude, he went to Eton.
Yeah, but everybody knows that it's just an act. The whole like crazy hair and everything, like it's just an act because he's a posh fucking wanker. Like he's just trying to be more a man of the people by messing up his hair, wearing bad suits and stuff like that, right?
Huh,
But-
that sounds so much like Trump.
Weird that.
Huh.
Right, so getting back to the because let's not because we've jumped around the place all over today. So let's stick to this Michigan thing. And if I could ask our American contributors to give their opinions, because obviously it's your manner.
Black people shouldn't be allowed to vote according to a lot of people. And if they can't legally say that, then they'll just make it as hard for them to vote as possible.
What's that?
Brenna?
My commentary on this is holy shit. Like just more and more bullshit that is coming out of this Republican narrative that the better it is to suppress people,
The more you can retain power.
and control that as well. So now you can control the districts. Then you can control the way people vote, who votes, how often they vote, who they can vote for, how people can get into politics. So now you're just breaking down those and You might as well go for Michigan.
This comes on the back of a mid-crisis pandemic Democratic vote that if you notice, the Republicans were very silent before the election on voting practices as well as ways to vote while during this pandemic. It wasn't until after Joe Biden had become the front runner of this election that they decided to throw their hat in the race. What that means to me is the Republicans view Biden as someone they can beat with ease, because if they were so concerned, they would have gotten involved and mentioned all of these things before that election had taken place. Now, this is nothing new when it comes to the Republican Party and limiting people's ability to vote or limiting the way that people vote. The thing that I see the most in my area is they want to make sure that the election is fair. And what they mean by fair is they want to make sure they win it. And they're going to do whatever they possibly can to win the election. If that means excluding people from voting, that's what they're going to do. And I'm not saying that Biden will or has, a icicle's chance in the middle of the Sahara Desert of beating him. But I'm saying that they think that if they can ensure victory through this, that they will. And that's kind of, to me, it's disingenuous. And I think that anytime they bring it up or start talking about it, that's what they're really saying.
Mm.
Yeah. So when it comes to polling of people's where they are located, you can really tell the way that Republicans react is when they have a harder chance of winning when their poll numbers are bad. So obviously in Michigan, where it is, as Mikey said, a purple state, that they know that their numbers are going to be bad. So the only way that they can do that is to suppress people's votes, because that's how they're going to ensure easier victory. So something that has recently happened on that note of absentee ballots is here in California. We're actually going through that because we do have such a large population, and we cannot vote in person here. And so the governor has said that we are going to be doing vote by mail. Now, that's no problem with me. I've been doing vote by mail for years. But when because vote by mail does not require you to be in person, that makes it harder to control people's votes. And so even though statistics say that the Republican voters are more consistently using absentee voting, the vote by mail, they are the ones now complaining about using vote by mail. And one of the reasons is where most places have the suppression of Black people, we have the suppression of Latino people because we are a heavily Latino state. So it's this idea, again, this narrative about how if you have absentee voting, there's no need for voter ID or any sort of checking in, and that means that these illegal aliens are going to vote more.
12
and
million.
That's why.
12 million in California.
Can I speculate on that? Is that because, like in California, a lot of Republicans have second homes there, but they live elsewhere, but their residence is California, so their absentee vote means that they're living, like, I don't know, like Nevada, and their main.
I mean, it's more along the lines of, and I'm going to say it this way: they have been complaining about Los Angeles because Los Angeles is a highly democratic place, and it has been for a long time. They're actually trying to get Los Angeles to have its separate voting district from the rest of the state of California. And this is something that's been going on there for the last few years.
Is that LA County or Los Angeles? Is that the same thing?
I'm not exactly sure if that's the same thing or not. That would be a question for Brenna.
LA County is usually, when we say LA, it usually means LA County.
Okay. No,
there's not really a Los Angeles per se. There's they're more like small cities.
No, it's just that you normally hear when people break things down, it's like LA and LA County, like New York and New York State. So I just wanted
we tend to think like to me personally, when it comes to saying like LA, if we're talking about more specific, it's usually the central part of LA. Where we have like downtown LA, the usual stuff that you would see on TV, that would be considered LA. Whereas if we say LA County, it's a lot larger and there's different sort of sections.
Okay, no,
so
that's cool.
Like Long Beach is part of LA, but it's to me it's slightly separate than that.
So we have the same problem. I can't speak on this because I'm in Illinois. We have the same problem here in Illinois that a lot of places in Illinois, a lot of the surrounding Republican counties want Cook County, the city of Chicago and its surrounding burbs, to be its own state for voting purposes and voting purposes only. They don't want the hub of where the majority of people are, because they only see it as in terms of, well, this small area compared to the rest of the state has all these people voting Democrat. And we're all Republicans down here where there's like 20 of us per town and we want to vote Republican and we don't think that there should be a Democrat, even though there are literally millions more Democrats that vote in these elections than they do. They still think they have the right to have their own representation in that way and not abide by the elections.
Yeah.
And it's really disgusting because elections are already bad the way that they are. But if they were to get what they wanted, they would limit. They start to limit the effectiveness of the governors, which segues me to what the point I was going to bring up with this. What the central government is doing right now is poisoning the people against their own governors, and that's what makes it so. That's what makes it harder to have the separation from state and federal government when the federal government is poisoning the people against their own governors. Because right now we have a large Republican constituency that is so mad at our governor for taking precautions and keeping people safe.
Is that the one governor you have that is not in jail?
The current governor, who is not yet.
He's not in jail yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
I will say not yet because we've had 5 that have been.
And he was good friends with Blago.
Cortez, to stop you there, 2 seconds. That's definitely a thing that I've picked up from over here, in the sense of the federal government is trying to poison the minds of people against their state governors that are against Trump. And there's been a couple of Republicans that have come out, but the ones that have come out are normally not up for re-election, so they don't give a shit.
Exactly.
But it seems to me that it's like Trump is being so totalitarian in his politics that he's disregarding the freedom of the states and telling them, I mean, didn't he say he had ultimate power a few weeks back?
Yes, he did.
And that's not constitutionally true at all. And yet that, in the mindset of the low frequency Trump supporter, is catching fire. And they're kind of like repeating his slogans and his.
All right. But like, yeah, of course, yeah. But
you know what? Do you know what they were running with? And this is why it's disgusting. They were running with the name Trump as an allegogram or allegory to teaching responsibility unto minority peoples. That's what they were running with. As far as what Trump stood for, and they have been putting this out there because they think that the Democratic and they completely bring up AOC all the time just because she happens to be a Latina congresswoman, and totally disrespecting the fact that these people have earned everything that they got, and this poisoning of the people. And I'm going to say this right now. These people are not rich. These Republican supporters, the majority of them aren't rich people. They're not. They're usually poor people that believe in his message and take it to everyone else like they're better than everyone else because of it, because of the way that he speaks and the way that he leads. So if I go out and say I think that my governor is doing a good job, I'm getting attacked by 30 broke people, 30 people that are poor, but believe in him. Oh, he's trying to save us. He's trying to have them open up businesses. That's not even the case. It's not the case at all. He's literally just trying to poison you against the people that have been voted in.
Yeah.
And on top of this, we have our next topic, which is the floods in Michigan, where Dr. Emma, did you hear about this? Yes, no?
No.
So 2 major dams in Michigan. We've had a lot of heavy rainfall in the Midwest. It rained here for probably a good 3.5 days. Like it just rained all day, every day. It just kept on going. And I live out in corn country, so it's all flat out here, and we have retention ponds and everything was fine and dandy. But even in Illinois, we had a lot of flooding. Well, it had much more in Michigan, which is why I will swish, wash, whoosh, whoosh, wash, wee. And if you want to pull out your phone for a second, I have a clip of some footage from all of the nonsense. Okay, let me read. So, how the sausage is made here. Easy, Brenna. Dean, this is not so much an echo chamber, but I think if we agree on something, that doesn't make us an echo chamber. It's okay. We don't always agree. We're usually screaming at each other, but we haven't had as much to drink tonight.
I'm not allowed to.
Yeah, we had to.
No, we need you. We need you for later. So.
For later. So it's fine.
Calm down, Mikey.
Like, if you disagree with us, by all means, light us up, dude. Like, we're not gonna fucking just like ban you or anything. Like, if you disagree on something, tell us. Like, that's the point.
No,
like, get in here and get your hands dirty. Let's have some fun. Let's talk about it.
So Dean, PM me. We'll set up a date. We'll fucking talk about it. Like, let's have a discussion. Let's have a conversation about it. So Absolutely. PM me. We'll set it up. It's gonna be fine.
All right.
You're good, dude.
You got your devices ready?
Yep.
I'm hitting play.
News out of mid-Michigan tonight, where thousands of people in Midland County are being evacuated after a dam collapse. The Edenville Dam breached at about 5:45, and then around 7 o'clock tonight, authorities warned the Sanford Dam appears close to collapsing as well. Water levels are likely to rise quickly along the Tittawabassee River downstream from both dams. Downtown Midland and Dow Chemical are part of the evacuation. Governor Gretchen Whitmer addressed the destruction an hour ago with a message for those in the affected areas.
Please, do not hesitate. Go stay with a friend or relative or get to one of these shelters now. Follow the direction of public safety officials on the ground. In the next 12 to 15 hours, downtown Midland could be under approximately 9 feet of water.
13 on your side, Chief Meteorologist George Lessons has been following this developing news all night tonight. What can you tell us?
I will cut it there.
Imagine.
Swish, wash, whoosh, 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 wah. And the meteorologist kind of talks about how the last time they saw something like this was back in the 80s. I think 86, he said. And just record flooding. Let me pull up the tweet. This is going to hurt. Dean. This is going to hurt you, big guy. Let me pull it up here. Oh, this is going to hurt, Dean. Dean, it's not good for your side. Oh, come on now. It's not loading. All right, let me close this. Close one of these. My poor little CPU. You've been doing a good job today, buddy. I appreciate you. Got a lot going on.
Give him a treat.
Yeah, I'll get the little air duster out and give him a good squirt. Right in his little gears.
That's disgusting.
Keep it in your pants.
That's not where I keep the bottle. Oh, I lost it now. Okay, I think it was after he congratulated his daughter on being a lawyer. So here's one.
Because he needs one. He needs a lawyer. He said that.
Yeah, and he fucking can't afford to pay for one, can he?
Not when you're broke. Share screen swap. All right, so here is Homeboys.
And who is reading these tweets again?
Yes, it's Cortez.
In a Donald Trump voice.
Cortez.
In a Donald Trump voice. Do your best, man. Do your fucking worst. I've been looking forward to this for like an hour and a half now.
Okay, so show me the tweets. I'm gonna read these things.
It's on the stream.
It's on the stream, and
let me go into the stream and watch them from the stream.
Yep.
There could be a massive delay.
Yeah.
It won't be that
Talk
bad.
amongst yourselves.
It won't be
Talk amongst yourself.
If only we had an editor.
If only we had somebody who was producing the show and cutting everything out. This is live, but
This will be seamless and beautiful.
I am ready to start reading these tweets, boys.
all right, this is gonna be fucking great. All right, let's go.
All right, hold on.
I'm gonna mute because I'm gonna laugh me out.
All right, millions. All right, I'm there.
Jesus Christ,
ballot applications to 7.7 million people ahead of primaries in the general election. This was done illegally and without authorization by a rogue Secretary of State. I will ask to hold up to funding Michigan if they want to go down this voter fraud path.
Hold up the
No, you sound like Black Trump.
Funding.
Yeah, he got a little Islander in there. It went there. But hold up funding for what? For the fucking flood we just saw.
Right. A flood.
That's what he's holding up. Like, I think he's so guilty of so many quid pro quos that he doesn't understand. I think he literally doesn't know what it means. That's why he keeps doing it. And he doesn't know that that's what the name of what he's doing is.
Well, he also is getting away with it. Like, this is holding funding like that for a disaster that is killing people.
Bruh, is he really
That's illegal.
this many tweets per hour?
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't actually do his supposed job.
No, okay. So what this goes back to is pretty much what the talking head, what's his called, his son-in-law, Kushner, right? Said that this is the federal stockpile, and the states should have gotten their own.
But they didn't get it.
Yeah, okay.
No, that federal stockpile was supposed to be, as he said, it was for the White House to use, which is not true.
Not in the least.
It's
Jared Kushner.
100% untrue.
Yeah, it's 100%. But okay, let's move on to the next tweet because try to be more white Trump and not black Trump.
All right. I gotta be. Well, I like Black Bush, so I mean, I gotta do something here. All right. So we have the next one, which is not even 15 minutes later. Crazy Bernie Sanders is not a fighter. He gives up too easy. The Dem establishment gets Alfred E. Newman, Mayor Pete, and Aunt Amy Klobuchar to quit to endorse Sleepy Joe before Super Tuesday, and gets Pocahontas to stay in the race.
That's so racist that he still says that.
Taking thousands of votes from Bernie, he would have beaten Sleepy Joe in a landslide. Every state, if these events didn't happen, even if Warren just dropped out, he would have easily won. Dems did it to him with crooked Hillary, and now even more, and Bernie doesn't even complain. Vote for Trump on trade. Better than BS.
That's Bernie Sanders, I think. I don't know.
It's not bullshit.
He does these
the
things.
whole thing is bullshit, but
He does these things because Okay, look at what he did. Okay, I'm not even a fan of this dude, but look what he did to Mike. He called the man Mini Mike. It wasn't even a part of. Oh, he's so short. He's a little guy. He like we don't know that Trump wears lifts in his shoes.
No, but like I just hearing you fucking reading these tweets makes me sick. Like this is some fringy fucking alt-right conspiracy theory bullshit. But this is your fucking president.
But
give me a second. This is fucking insane that the president of the United States is fucking tweeting out this for all of the fucking world to see. It's just insanity. It's just.
I thought Twitter should just be like, hey, an error happened and your tweet never went out. My bad. We're gonna work on that. We got some techs working on getting your tweets out. Sorry about that.
No, if I was the president of Twitter or the world, the president of the world would be better though.
Same
but
fuck that.
Right now, president of Twitter would probably be a better position right now.
Yeah.
Because that
like
at
every
least you'd
time
be able to shut this shit down.
No, I would be sitting in my office and every time you fucking posted a tweet, I would like correct it and just fucking make it out to be something completely fucking different. That wasn't fucking insane.
But didn't the White House say that Trump's tweets are official communications?
Yes, he's using Twitter as part of his official presidential communication.
So
the problem is that he's not even using his POTUS.
He's not using that one. He refuses to.
He doesn't want to. He's using his personal.
Everyone who is blocked by Donald Trump, who's an American, is being refused their First Amendment.
Well, okay, so here's the thing, right? Donald Trump is. They mentioned this back when they first started talking about the fact that Obama used the POTUS account when he was the president because Twitter was invented while he was the president, and because it was an official presidential account and not Obama's personal account, Obama lost, and so did Michelle Obama. They both lost the First Lady account, the FLOTUS account, and the POTUS accounts, and they gave them, as part of the succession that they do in this country, to the next First Lady and the next president. Donald Trump says, I don't want to use anything that Obama used. So the POTUS account is now official, I'm going to call it propaganda that's put out by the White House. And he uses his personal account under the First Amendment laws to say whatever he wants on his personal account because, this is a personal account. It's not the president's account, even though he's the president. And what makes it worse is a former president, President Bush, came under fire from Trump supporters and Trump because President Bush said, hey, we're in the middle of a pandemic. You should probably not be tweeting as much stuff from the from Oval Office. And he took it as an affront. Like, oh, you gonna talk about me, Bush? You gonna talk about me? Like, this is supposed to be your running mate, not a running mate, but party member who's supposed to help you campaign for the next election, and you're attacking him. So you have no friends at this point other than people that are already in your administration and your weird supporters. Because everybody else has said you should probably stop tweeting. You're upset because you use Twitter to attack people. Now, if he was a 14-year-old back in like 2000 and like, what was it? Like 2007 or 8, and he tweeted some stuff and he got drafted by the NFL today, they would be down his throat for the crazy, misogyny and racism that he tweets. They've gotten rid of people from professional sports leagues because they uttered some misogynistic or some racial things when they were 13 years old. But the president can do it today, and no one's gonna say anything about it, or impede an investigation by threatening people on his Twitter.
Yeah, threatening their livelihoods. All right. Let's let me get out of back to the live scene. We have one story left for today, and then we're gonna take questions for a little bit. And if the boys and gals are up for an after party, I'm down. I just got my new cable, so I'll be playing video games and streaming if you guys want to chat with us.
And of course, you're going to be streaming that through the Bin Podcast Facebook feed.
I wanted to ask you guys that. Do y'all care if I use the Bin?
No, not all.
Go for it.
Okay,
No.
I'll stream through there.
You are the co-host. After all, the
I
only
have
one
to
who
get
has
permission from my brothers and sisters to make sure
No,
that
the
I'm
only
allowed
one
to
that
do
has
certain things.
the only one here who has host in their Twitter bio. Everybody else has co-host. Is me.
Oh, look at Jartan.
So who's the host? And everybody else is the co-host.
So let's
right?
make this whole thing about how Twitter obviously doesn't know how to rein in assholes.
It doesn't fucking fan out fake news.
Mikey, I'm going to go in. I'm just going to block Jartan.
Are we doing a bin Modern Warfare?
And I'm going to do it off my phone to show you how much power I have.
Can we start doing bin Modern Warfares on Warzone?
I can play Modern Warfare or
Mate,
Warzone.
I played Warzone for the first time today after it all updated. I ain't playing that game again.
Oh,
Fuck me.
shut up.
Murder.
Come on. We finally all
I'm
have
not a
one
big fan
game.
of Warzone. I'm an Apex legend.
We fucking rock fucking Warzone, dude. When we played it, we fucking rocked it.
Yeah.
Wayne didn't enjoy himself.
And now I got my cables, Jartan, so I won't have all the fucking lag issues. I don't need to fucking bring a 50 fucking
Hey
inch
guys,
TV on
for
top of
everyone
my
watching,
desk.
Wayne uses a strike pack to play video games. He's a cheater.
What? I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, of course
you
you
do.
don't, you cheater.
Yeah, you do.
There's certain buttons on my PlayStation controller I can't use because my fingers don't work that way.
That's because you almost ruined your hand being a bad goalie.
And if you lived in America, you would get that.
Oh, they would have chopped it off if you lived in America.
Let me
Yeah,
go
they
get
charged me for it.
let me go
and
get the bolt
All right,
cutters. I'm gonna solve this.
Last topic, and last topic is a bit of a local one, but we are going to try to broaden the scope a bit on it.
So, trigger warning for people. This has to do with sex workers. This has to do with a lot of mature topics. So I don't want anyone to be surprised by what we're talking about. I want to get this is a heavy topic. It's a serious topic. We're probably going to have less jokes here, but it is something important to talk about. Would you like to just intro it, Bob, or do you want me to just show the article first?
You can show the article first. Let's do that. Of course, we're going to post a link in the show notes as well.
Yep, I got all this.
There we go.
So, Swedish movie star and dozens of sex buyers seized in Stockholm raids, and this was the 19th, so not too far, not too long ago. Check out Granny over here. Major police raids in Stockholm have grabbed headlines in Sweden after a TV and movie star was caught buying sex. He was not the only one arrested. Police seized 28 people during raids against sex buyers in Stockholm in the past week, writes Expressen. The crackdown included a major raid on an apartment at Grevgatan in the upmarket Stockholm district Östermalm, Jesus Christ, on Thursday, where police arrests included former boxer, actor, and TV show host Paolo Roberto. Criminal suspects are usually not named in Swedish newspapers until there has been a conviction, and Swedish media initially reported only that a TV star had been arrested for buying sex. However, Roberto then outed himself and confessed to having bought sex in an interview with broadcaster TV4. Keep going, or what do you want me to do?
No, that's good. All right. Okay. So basically what happened is he got busted. Next day he went on TV and apologized for it. He went proactive, right? He went out and told his story before everybody started speculating in the media and stuff like that. What's happened after that is that people are applauding him for owning it. A bit of that was that also he said, like, no, it's just first time. Bit unlucky there, right? First time buying sex, you get busted. A lot of people, of course, made fun of that because it's not really believable. You're in a brothel, for God's sake, with 10 other men. What you need to know that it says that 28 people were arrested, right? So they also arrested the prostitutes, but they didn't really commit a crime because of the law, the prostitute law that we have here. It's illegal to elicit sex work, but it's not illegal to sell. So the prostitutes didn't really didn't do a crime. They got arrested in that raid, but they were let go because they didn't commit a crime. The point I'm trying to make is this man, 51-year-old, ex-boxer, TV personality, now he's getting a lot of support. There are Facebook groups with thousands of people supporting him for coming out and telling about what he did. And this is a problem because he would never do that if he didn't get caught. Only reason he's doing that is damage control. And we all know, like, in 2 years, he's going to give out like a self-help book for sex buyers and shit like that. And up top of that, people have started posting, because this is all part of public record, right? If you get arrested for something, that is part of public record. And if there's indictment against you, that is submitted to court. That is part of public record.
Wayne,
so
stop it.
Sorry, I just had a really confusing message. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, all right. So now people have started posting the names and of the other 10 men that were arrested. They did not go out in media and say this was me and I've done that. And now we started posting that as a part of public record. Of course, it's public, accessible to anybody. But is it right, though, that we post these private citizens that, yes, have committed a crime, and we put them in the same thing as a media personality that tries to use media to excuse his fucking bad behavior, and the only reason he's doing that is because he got caught doing that bad behavior? Is that really the way that we want this to go?
They have a lot of like apps, like news apps, like local news and stuff like that here. And they have like, and now it's time for the weekly roundup, and they like post people who have like DUIs or assault or theft and all that stuff, and then they broadcast these people's faces, like their mugshots and the crime that they're accused of, because they haven't been convicted of any of these things. They've just been arrested for these things. I take issue with that.
So do I. And something that I actually forgot to mention is that in that TV interview that he did, he sort of he said something about it was not necessarily voluntary from the woman's side, from the prostitute side, which actually meant that he, on live TV, said, "I've just done rape." So now he's under investigation for rape as well.
It's for the other people. Hold on, gotta sneeze. There it is. For the other people,
Prosentite.
They don't have, like, I think that there's a major flaw with a lot of the ways that we deal with people who commit crimes. Because if someone steals from a store, for whatever the reason is, they don't need the entire neighborhood to see their picture. Especially when maybe they were accused of stealing and they didn't do it. Maybe they did steal. Either way, we need to protect those people's their privacy, just as I would hope that my privacy is protected if I got drunk and went off on my neighbor and then they pushed me and then I hit him and then now I'm arrested for assault or I'm arrested for battery or something like that. I don't need all the rest of my neighbors. I don't need the entire town. I don't need everybody knowing all of that stuff, especially when it hasn't been decided by the courts yet. Like I've only been arrested for something. I've only been accused of something. I haven't been convicted of something.
But the problem is, mate, when you're in the public eye, apparently that means you're a commodity to sell papers, to sell clicks. So that's where it goes out the window. Unfortunately, it's the world we've created, but that is the nature of the beast, because we all love a gossip about a celebrity, and we all love watching someone else's life either flourish or fail. And when you're in that position, it's, I mean, I don't agree with it. I think you're a private citizen regardless.
Yeah.
but this is the world that the media has created, and us being consumers of media have been kind of a willing participant of that, creating that culture. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a very nebulous kind of, and this is the world that we've created. It's not so much that.
Well, it is.
No, I think it's more pointed, and it's more directed, because it's never before, like, people having access to social media, yes, but they're not going after just the super famous guy. They have found out the other people that were arrested and put their information out as well. I don't
actually put their arrest records, like, because it's as soon as it's submitted to the courts, they are public information, and you can go into the court and you can get that. So the actual arrest records are posted online.
Yeah, I think that's doxing, is it not?
No, it's not.
Well, unless you redact a lot of that information, then I'd say yeah, because there's got to be some form of locational intel on there for people to just be broadcasting.
Unless a court says they can't be named for legal reasons, everything is in the public domain.
Yeah. So it's not really illegal for them to post this, because it's a part of public record, right? So it's not illegal in any way to post it, but is it moral?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
You think so?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? All right, good, because otherwise we'll have a big discussion about it. But all right,
Brenna thinks it is, though.
Really?
Yep.
No.
She told me earlier.
No. But okay, but we've had this discussion before, but why sex work or prostitution is considered the oldest profession in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are problematic things about having prostitution illegalized, having it delegalized, and having it legal. There are different ways going about it. We've had this discussion before, and I know we don't see eye to eye on this. So I want to go around the table and just ask everybody the point of view: should we legalize it? Should we decriminalize it? Or should we have it entirely criminalized? Let's start with Brenna. What's your point on this?
I think just legalizing prostitution and turning it into a legitimate business where workers are protected and getting decent pay and healthcare would actually go a long way, especially here in the
Porn's legal.
Yeah, it is, and we pay people.
Yep, both parties get paid.
Who pays for porn? Come on, man. No one's paying for porn. If you're paying for porn, you're a sucker.
Mikey, don't shit on my fucking bonfire here
wow,
right now.
What a sucker paying for porn over there.
What I'm saying for paying for porn is that the
Mikey subscribes to my OnlyFans.
The producers pay the workers and
the talent,
the actors,
the talent, the actors, I guess.
Adult actors.
Yes.
I like how you say actors, then you go like.
I'm gonna say this. I feel like before anyone is found guilty of anything, plastering their images all over the internet and cable news and anything else is very disruptive to this person ever having a normal life again. And corrections and making someone pay for crimes they've committed, it has nothing to do with the court of public opinion. And I wish that they would stop doing that to people, because how can you have a jury rule if that jury has been poisoned by the media for months?
It's poison in the well. It's 100% poison. It's 100% poison in the well. As soon as you put them out that they've been arrested and what they've been arrested for, the chances that one of the jurors is going to see that is they're going to see it. You know what I mean?
Everyone has a phone. Everyone has a TV.
Right.
There are TVs at the gas pumps, okay, with the news on them.
Right.
And the one thing that I'm going to say is it's impossible to get a fair trial when you do that to a person, especially in smaller neighborhoods where all they have to do is talk about, well, Miss Johnson's cat was stuck in a tree today, and the firefighters did such a great job of pulling her out the tree, and then you have a scandal. So,
but doesn't this then go full circle back to Mikey's point about the medical thing from earlier?
Yes.
In the sense of how do these people know about it when it's such a localized thing and it should have been a confidential thing?
Yes,
and
it was a breach of confidentiality.
Yeah,
and ultimately,
so surely
it was a violation of this very act that the people are stating.
Yeah, so surely for any my point on this, or my position on this, if you will, has always been until someone is charged and the trial is set, none of the details should come out at all.
That's the problem with the public. They are feeding the public what the public needs to know because it's the public's right to know what's going on. And that is how they get so many convictions, because it's not about corrections. It isn't about justice. It's a business to them. They don't get the money in the fund they need to continue paying their one of the lowest salaries from officials in my own county was over $200,000 a year. In just my county. So imagine.
Yeah. But sure. But we can all agree, I think, that given these private citizens, because the famous guy, he went on telly and he told everybody what he did and he tried to be proactive against that. So he kind of put his name out there. Everybody else got their name out there because people, kind of the deal that they wanted to make is that nobody cares about the other people, but nobody cares about the other people because they're not famous and they didn't put their name out there. They didn't volunteer their name out there, and now their names are out there anyways. That's a difference. Volunteering your name, telling everybody that I'm one of those 11 people who got arrested for soliciting fucking sex work, that is one thing. That is a fucking choice you're allowed to make. If you want to go on telly and fucking tell that. But the other 10 dudes they did not volunteer that. They did not go on telly. They probably did not want that out there. But now it's out there because there was one famous guy that everybody was like, well, he's such a fucking stand-up dude. He's standing up for what he did. He wouldn't do that if he didn't fucking get caught. Right? And bullshit, it was but bullshit, it was his first fucking time. Nobody goes to brothel their first fucking time with 10 other fucking dudes. That was a fucking circle jerk, mate. That was some next level fucking orgy fucking bullshit.
Calm down, Brenna.
And that's not what you do the first time you fucking go out.
The same thing happened to Robert Kraft, who's the owner of the New England Patriots, the National Football League, and their sting was a lot bigger. They had over 120 people that they have involved in that, and Robert Kraft was the quote-unquote biggest one. He hasn't faced any charges or a day.
No, but that's not the point, though. That's not the point.
They have sealed his records about it. It's about money.
Yeah, but that's really not the point. Like that's not the point. Like you're missing the fucking point there.
I hear you, Jason. I hear what you're saying.
You're missing the point.
I'm with you.
The famous guy, he went out. He said, "This is me. I've done this."
But the other people got smeared.
Yeah, the other people, they just got caught up in that because, So they did not volunteer that information.
So what he's saying is, instead of the famous person coming out and saying, I did this, and then he threw himself onto the mercy of the public, Robert Kraft, an owner of the NFL, he had enough money where he locked the whole shit down.
Yeah.
You can't
they can't
find his
prosecute
shit.
them.
Everybody else is still out in the wind. He shut his he used his celebrity to shut it down. And I think that was just the other side of the coin that he was trying to point
that's
out.
the other side of the coin that I was showing. The people the people who lost their business because of this, it's probably going to happen there too. But the people who lost their business because of this, they're not going to get any help. Nobody's going to help them. Nobody, because you have to, in order to run these brothels and these houses, whatever you want to call them, they have to have a front business that's actually doing something. They're going to lose all that. And the people that are involved, they're going to get smeared all over the place in their local neighborhoods and their local towns.
Let me give you an example over here.
Oh
there was
God,
a
Wayne's
plane-
got an example. Go ahead, Wayne. Tell us all about
Sit
it.
back and relax,
Oh
everybody.
jeez.
Have you been to Germany lately?
No. Listen, right. There's a footballer called Ched Evans who was accused of rape, convicted of rape, and then on appeal, his conviction was quashed. But everyone now knows him as convicted. Like the media was always convicted rapist, convicted rapist, convicted rapist. When his appeal got, when he won his appeal, there was no media saying, "Oh yeah, he won his appeal. Let's talk about him winning his appeal." None. So now his name is forever sullied and convicted rapist Ched Evans, because the media will drop you like a stone if you are not profitable. Yet your story stays in the group consciousness as, oh, convicted rapist Ched Evans. But now he's just trying to crack on with his life, but he's having that thing hanging over him.
Yeah.
Dr.
And
Emma,
that's the destructiveness of the media. I personally believe that if the media give as much column inches as time to a story that's salacious and they get it wrong, they've got to give as much time to the apology or the repeal of what they've said, because that's the problem. There's no accountability on that front. So your man here who's come out and said, yeah, this is what I did, he's going to be exonerated in the public sphere. But the people that are dragged in with him, they ain't getting that, are they?
no. Dr. Emma, your thoughts on this and your thoughts as a doctor on this, if you had to be a doctor in like Stockholm or something like that.
Well, I don't know about my thoughts as a doctor, but I was thinking about as a human. Well, in Sweden, the law says that it's not illegal to sell sex, but it's illegal to buy sex, right? And the reason why they decriminalized. Yeah, well, the reason why they decriminalized the selling of sex is that they identified that this group of people, the women who sell sex, are already vulnerable, and they are already punished in a way,
Right.
because they have to. They're in this vulnerable situation, right? And they don't want to, punish them double. So that's why they decriminalized the selling of the sex, but they still have this, view that selling and buying of sex is immoral. So they criminalize the buying of sex. And I think this is kind of a half measure. And sure, I understand the bit about protecting the women and how you don't want to punish them twice. But I think it's a little bit ridiculous in a way also, because we base these laws on the assumption that it's morally wrong, the whole business. And I don't know if this the system we have now is actually helping or protecting the women, because like Brenna said, maybe if we would just legalize the whole business, it would be a safer business to be in. But then again, instead of just looking at the moral aspect, I would like to look at the consequence ethics, if you like, and see, like, I don't know enough about this, but I would like a law that's made to like genuinely protect people and help them from not being abused, because now with the system in Sweden, we do have a lot of trafficking. And that was the thing with this woman that Paolo Roberto bought sex from. He even admitted that he assumed that she didn't want to be there. She was forced to be there.
For different reasons, like if she was a human trafficking victim or something like that, because she was not a Swedish citizen, right?
No, we don't know. It said she was from one of
Eastern
the poorest
European
countries
in Europe.
countries in Europe. Yeah. So and that's what Kjartan was saying. He basically admitted to rape, because we have the laws around rape in Sweden is quite different from many other countries, and you can be convicted of kind of like reckless rape. Like if you have sex with someone and you can assume that they didn't actually want to do it, but maybe that person was too drunk to say no, or being threatened
we
by
have
someone else.
We have so we have a new consent law from 2018. Or is it 2016? 2016 or 2018. We have a new consent law that says that any sexual contact that is not explicitly consensual, like she has, the man or the woman has given their explicit consent, is considered rape, right? So, and that means that even what we would call sexual, if you touch somebody's ass without asking their consent, what is that called? That is called sexual assault. Assault, yeah. That is under the rape law now. That is actually considered rape.
But that's but that's not really the same thing as I was talking about now. I mean, it's more
but I'm just saying that's the consent law. Like the consent law is
our consent
very
law is
broad
quite
law.
it's quite broad and complicated. I mean, so it's really like you have to make sure that the person that you have consent from this person. You can't just assume, and you can't say afterwards, well, they didn't say no, like, so I assumed it's all right. And in this case, the problem is that she was probably not saying no at the moment, but she was probably forced by someone to be there in the first place.
She didn't travel there on her own volition to do something, giving full consent. That's
no,
right.
Yeah, probably. So so my point is, I wish that we would have laws that aren't just based on what some people find morally right and morally wrong, more like how can these laws actually have the consequence of the law is that we help vulnerable people and protect them.
We've tried making laws based on morals, and we can't do that. It didn't work out for us. So, I mean, we had prohibition, and that didn't work out for us, and that was based on morals instead of doing what was actually needed, was protecting people who got affected by alcoholism
but prohibition is based on a great idea, though, because most violent offences are done under the infliction of alcohol.
But the problem was that the laws did not reflect what was come out of it. It was, let's just prohibit the alcohol and not have to deal with the other consequence, saying that was the problem, which it wasn't. The problem was not the alcohol, it was the effect of alcohol on people, especially women were abused the most. The money was being used at bars, the drinking, driving, or and now instead of having a prohibition on alcohol, we have protections against those effects. We have domestic violence laws. We have DUI laws. We have all these not because the prohibition worked, it was because prohibition didn't work. And so as far as what I understand from what Dr. Emma's saying is that instead of saying, well, either like no prostitution or blah blah blah, but to actually work on getting the rights of these women, to get the trafficking down, to the abuses down. So,
and that was, and I think that was like the crux of my argument when we argued this last time. Is I was just like, I say no until we find a way to protect these people. And like I don't care if people have sex with each other and then one person pays the other person, because otherwise they would not have had sex with them. That's
Right.
fine. Make your money, girl.
Everybody
Make your money,
pays
boy.
in one way or another.
And to find out what Mikey's argument was originally, you need to go back into our back catalogue and listen.
And you need to. Where do you need to go to do that?
You need to go to patreon.com/thebinpodcast, and our entire back catalogue is available there for you when you subscribe. And then if you do us the honour of liking, sharing, and just telling everyone about it, that'd be amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. And on that point,
That was
we are going to do a wrap for tonight. Of course, we would like to talk to Emma. Thank you so much for joining us.
Always.
Yes,
You are-
cheers, Emma.
It's my pleasure.
Always.
You're a
I have a
welcome
small-
addition.
I have a
We
small
always
crush.
need, yeah, not just a small one.
I have a small crush on Dr.
Yeah.
Don't tell Drew. Oh shit, he's probably watching. No.
Yeah, and by the way, for every one of our Patreon exclusive, we actually do have a very, very special with Emma's husband and Wayne.
Emma's
Coming
husband
up.
and
What?
Wayne. Not
Yeah.
Emma's husband, Wayne.
And we could just call him Emma's husband.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That is actually in the description. It's Emma's husband.
Yep.
No, that is all going to be Patreon exclusive. You're going to love that.
Always fun.
And for our viewers who might want to go on to Patreon, can you please tell us a little bit about your husband and why it was important for us to talk to him?
For me to talk to him.
Yeah, for Wayne. Well, I don't really know what they spoke about. Wayne snatched him away from us at a party at Charlton's house last weekend.
That is the first time ever I've had a party. I'd never have parties. That is the first time ever. That has never happened before.
During a pandemic.
We're
very
all sitting there 2 meters away from one another with our masks on.
After all we just went through, and y'all
And we
were
had a
having
right good
parties.
laugh because we were sitting in the kitchen and we were fucking hearing these two just fucking ranting on. It was fucking hilarious. But so just
But he's a reasonably funny guy. Not quite as funny as me, I would say, but he's okay.
Obviously, he's funny.
He's Charlton's dream girlfriend.
The beard and everything.
Yeah. No, but it's really like
He just needs feathers.
He just needs some feathers, and we're fucking down on that.
my God.
No, but the point is that Mr. Drew is a fantastic human being, but he's all and
He's all right.
He's all right. He's born and raised in South Africa, but he's a white South
Born
African.
in Zimbabwe, raised in South Africa.
Yeah, born in Zimbabwe.
Rhodesia.
There we go.
They don't call it that.
Raised
No,
in South
we
Africa.
covered that in our chat.
Yeah, and it's all covered in the chat. He has some perspective on growing up during apartheid as a white person. But if you want to know more about that, you need to go to patreon.com/thebinpodcast. It will only cost you $1, but of course we'd like you to donate more. You get a lot of good content. You get a lot of fucking great shit if you go in there. Watch it. Look
Great
for our
description.
chairs. Yeah, just make a fucking contribution because.
Okay. They fucking get it. They know where to fucking go. We're sounding a little bit weak now.
All right.
Give us your fucking money.
All right. So, Emma, final thoughts for tonight.
What? I don't have any thoughts left.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Not a single thought.
Single thought. That's all I had. Like really.
Yeah. All right.
No.
Fantastic, Mikey. What you got for us, mate?
Wash your hands. That's all I got.
Oh yeah. Well, yes. Okay, that one. Yeah, I agree.
There we go.
Sorry, shit. I forgot I was a doctor. Yeah, wash your hands. Keep a distance.
Teeth. It'll get you.
Brenna?
What, me?
Final thoughts?
No, the other Brenna.
Final. Where?
The one on Mars.
Stay hydrated, people. Like, I know weather's getting hot. We're all getting a little drunk.
And don't go to the beach.
And like, stay hydrated.
Drink ocean water, Brenna says. Drink the salt water right out of the ocean.
You know what? I'm a Darwinist, survival of the fittest. So go for it.
That's not what that means.
Cortez,
Black Surfer.
Final thoughts, mate.
Final thoughts. Remember, in these tough times, the best thing that you can do is to mind your own damn business. Mind your own business. And the only thing that I wish in this world right now, I wish a motherfucker would.
I wish you would.
All right.
Wayne.
Just be excellent to each other.
Shut up. I fucking hate you.
Mr. Wayne makes excellence.
Just laying it down.
Bob, hit it.
Oh,
Right.
wait, excuse me. I forgot this. Me and Wayne would like to say condolences to the family of Shad Gaspard and everyone that met
Oh,
us
yeah.
in the past. He was a good person. I got to meet him only once, but he was a good person. And I'm glad that his son's going to be able to carry his legacy for the future.
And I would like to say that his parting gift to this world was the fact that he said to the rescuers, "Take my son."
Wow.
Because they were going to save him first.
Yeah. And he said, "Take my son."
The
And
rescuer
then he
admitted they were
wasn't-
going to take
and
him
then-
first.
And then he wasn't found till 3 days later. And the geezer
need-
is my age.
What you need to do is you need to post that article so everybody can
Oh my
read
God,
it.
let's go
It's a good
home.
one.
Let's go
All right.
home.
We're done. Final thoughts from me. Support your local brothel. You'll be fine. Wear a condom. The views and opinions of me are only the views and opinions of me, and do not reflect the views and opinion of the Ben Podcast. We are done for tonight. For Mikey, for Emma, for Wayne, for Anna, and for Cortez. Thank you. Good night. Have a good one.
Peace.
Oh boy, oh boy.